those can be the two most healing words in your vocabulary. All of you. "Tain't so." You don't have to yell it. Let it be a light-hearted dismissal of nonsense. "Tain't so. Tain't so." And in not buying into the suggestion that it is so, there is less defense against the influx of inspiration and insight and regeneration and redemption. In other words, healing. Oh, well, it said, how many years do I have left anyway? You know, I've been able to hear most of my life. I don't need to mess with this. I'll put up with it for a while. But let's say that for some reason somebody walks into his experience tomorrow and gives him a life sentence of 200 more years. Now, how satisfied is he going to be with putting up with it? He wouldn't be willing to not hear well for another 200 years. And you bet your bottom dollar he'd get on the stick and start assessing his body differently, as I've described, and becoming conscientiously conscious of the truth about him, so that he's not lingering in a doubt that keeps the healing from registering with him, keeping God hidden from him. You see, the God in him, that is him, and is the source and resource of his presence. So tell him, key words are, "Tain't so, tain't so," and then keep regeneration and redemption clearly in his vocabulary, the vocabulary of his mind each day, with an openness to see what the physicians say is impossible happen. All that's necessary for any of you to experience healing is to find a way to abandon whatever conviction you have that it's not possible. You don't have to have a lot of explanation, spiritual explanation, in order to experience healing. All you have to do is have an innocent mind, you might say, that says it's possible, without there being a lot of arguments behind it as to why it's not possible. A simple, childlike openness to see what somebody called dead nerves functioning fully for no reason you can understand, except that there's a God, and you don't really know what that means. It's the truth, and you don't have to know what it means. But you're bound by the limits of what you can believe, physically and mentally, socially, and so on. That's the only thing you're bound by, is that one way or another you're saying, it ain't possible. So suggest to him that I'm giving him a life sentence of 200 more years, and to get on the stick, and don't limit don't limit his sense of what can be regenerated and redeemed to his hearing, because there have been other little things that he's let creep in because, well, you know, there's only so many years left. Bullshit. Don't any of you settle for even a speck of error. Don't settle for a speck of illusion. Don't let the smallest belief govern the way you experience your life. And remember, as I said in the beginning, find that place of excellence in you, so that not only the words that come out of your mouth are meaningful and transformational, but so that every thought that presents itself in your mind is meaningful and transformational, and not reinforcing the past, not reinforcing the beliefs that you've let build that say, "'Tis so, 'tis so. I can't hear. The nerves are dead, the nerves are dead." No, tain't so, tain't so, tain't so, tain't so, tain't so. And you don't have to get vehement about it, because you're not fighting anything when you're saying tain't so. You're making a simple acknowledgement of truth. That because it's the truth, opens the door to new ways of looking that allow you to see more of the truth that really is the only thing going on here. Something real with a capital R called life is going on, no matter how you're interpreting it. And it doesn't include deadened nerves, no matter what justification there might be for it. I don't care if they seem, by an X-ray, the nerves to have shriveled up and gone. I'm sorry, no part of God has disappeared. No part of God has been diminished. And all of God is eternal. And so, just as this place of excellence in you that has never gone anywhere is there for you to experience, just so any part of your body that seems to have disappeared cannot have gone anywhere, and its reappearance is part of regeneration and redemption that's available to you. Too radical for you? No. But just stop saying, "'Tis so, 'tis so, 'tis so." We need more healing in the world. Do you know what that means? It doesn't mean being able to be at peace and blissful in the absence of fullness, in the presence of suffering, in the presence of ongoing loss. It means transformation and redemption, healing, the reappearing of what has been lost, the reappearing of function where function seems to have ceased. The world needs to hear about and know about healing. But you're not going to have it, the world is not going to have it to hear about if no one's daring to embody it. Always the belief is that the hope of the future is in the younger generation. Why does the older generation say that? They say it because they've become so bound to peer pressure and mutually agreed upon definitions, and they're so dedicated to serving the peer pressure that they don't have the guts to break the mold that they've created around themselves. The younger generation is eager to embody new things. But by the same token, the younger generation isn't getting support from the older generation to explore the place of excellence in them. And the older generation encourages the younger generation to yield to peer pressure and bring that which is fresh and new into existence without upsetting the peer pressure. And so the freshness of being isn't getting restored. So the younger generation and the older generation both need to find this place of excellence and need to dare to be radical so that there can be what? A resurrection of dead nerves, an uncovering of the fact that no part of God ever ceased to be. And that the presence of God is so total that it's the only thing going on right there where it's delineated a nerve in the ear or nerves in the ear. Have I been clear enough? We will take a break. Okay. I indicated that we could have a question and a follow-up or a yes, but from the person asking the question, if the answer has generated any questions for anyone else, or a yes but relative to the answer, this would be a good time to right here.
Raj, I have a question regarding the senses, dealing directly with the search for excellence. For me, I sense a block for...
Now, let me interrupt. I don't want any of you to go on a search for excellence. I want you to feel into the place of excellence that's already in you so that excellence can come forth. It's already there, so you don't have to search for it.
All right, well, let me rephrase that
yes.
then.
I'm glad you used that word, though, because so many turn something utterly simple into a process that distracts them from the experience I'm talking about.
Okay.
Continue, though.
I am on a search more than for the blocks that are keeping me from being in complete excellence, for recognizing the God-likeness that is within myself, within all of us. Personally, I feel I should have an instantaneous healing and I can just leave tonight without the glasses. But if I take them off, you're a blur. So could you point me closer to the block
you gratefully keep them on until the healing occurs. Continue.
So I'm looking for the block. If there is a block, I'm assuming there is a block, or I would have an instantaneous healing because I believe that I should be able to manifest an instantaneous healing, and therefore there is no need for glasses. Is there a block that I'm not wanting to see clearly the God self within me, or is it something else? And I was just wondering if you could clarify that, or if you could tune in to what that block may be for myself personally.
I'm going to suggest that when you turn within to the place of excellence, that you ask whether there is a block that you need to become conscious of. Don't make the assumption that there is and then go on a witch hunt, a block hunt, you might say, for the blocks, because that's another process that all of you do get engaged in as you get onto a metaphysical or spiritual path. You want to uncover all the skeletons in the closet. And I'll tell you something, the ego's closet is a warehouse. And you can spend a century in the warehouse never getting to healing, because what you want to be looking for is the solution, not the problem. You understand what I'm getting at? What you want is the infilling of your birthright. I promise you that in your willingness, not willfulness for healing, but willingness for healing, if there is a block, it will confront you and try to distract you from your willingness. You might find yourself afraid of being able to see without your glasses. And when you pay attention to the fear, you'll find that it stemmed from such and such an experience. And in the process of that fear being uncovered, you will be able to set it aside and healing will come. But you may likewise find that as you are willing for healing, nothing will come to the foreground for you to see, because there is no block per se that you must uncover. Rather, it is the gentle, quiet, peaceful willingness to embrace the experience of your perfection without any effort to it at all. A letting, an allowing. Don't make assumptions before you turn to that place of excellence within yourself. Don't make assumptions and come to conclusions and go to that place of excellence with a task for it to accomplish. Do you have a yes, but?
I do. Maybe I'm a dog chasing my tail with this. With other experiences of releasing misconception that is stopping me from being the truth, I find that when I get close to this, ego will make an attempt to latch on, like a light bulb getting ready to burn out. It has that sudden flare up. Ego suddenly flares up and does this last ditch effort to just grab and not let go of you because it's going to lose control. Indeed. So would I have an indication then that I'm close to removing the glasses when I have this ego flare-up? Or again, am I just trying to search for something and not actually just being in my peace, realizing that this is just an illusion that I need glasses, and really, in order for me to partake in all of creation, I just need to calm my thoughts and listen to that one truth?
Certainly you can take a flare-up of the ego as an indication that it is feeling threatened by your disregard. But as in a meditation, when thoughts occur, you notice them and go back to your mantra. You don't take the bait. Simply go back to your willingness. It isn't just that you deserve healing. It isn't just that wholeness is your birthright. It is the fact that you are whole, all of you, right now, already. You never, ever, for an instant, became anything less than the fullness of God embodying Himself, herself. So you're not recreating anything, you're not reconstructing something that is actually damaged. And at the same time that you are willing to experience the capacity to take the glasses off and experience no need of them any further, at the very same time that you are willing to have that experience, do not engage frustration that you have them on. Let there be gratitude for them. Else you keep yourself in a conflicted state. And that does block harmony. And if you seem to have had to deal with a physical problem in what you might call a non-spiritual, non-metaphysical way, don't engage in frustrating yourself because you weren't able to use the ultimate way, even though the way that was used worked. Else you keep a state of conflict going. The Father's love meets you where you are, meaning that the wholeness of your being, even though you're ignoring it, even though you're saying, "'Tain't so, it isn't there," is still there. And it is constantly presenting itself to you through the sieve of your current limited perception or mindsets. And so you find that you have glasses that apparently allow you to see clearly, even though it is not, quote, natural, unquote. And so your need is met. So you say thank you. That doesn't mean that you are saying okay to poor eyesight. Doing that doesn't confirm your limitation. It acknowledges that divine love is meeting you where you are, and you recognize it for what it is, and you are grateful even if you can't see it in its more ultimate and more instantaneous form. And then, in the context of divine love loving you, you are willing to experience more. Now, you are not in a state of inner conflict, of either personal self-resentment for your incapacity, whatever it might be, not to be able to do it differently. You're not you're not confirming within yourself a conflict that blocks the rest of divine love's meeting your need.
So in other words, love the moment so that I may raise my vibration to express or experience another moment that is, in a sense, a higher moment.
Yes.
And build upon it and build upon it and build upon it.
Yes.
By loving each and every moment.
Yes.
For the moment.
Except that it is not useful to talk about rising and higher, because if you're coming back into what is a natural state of being for you, what you're really doing is relaxing back into or down into the very groundedness with a capital G of your being with a capital B. When you talk about rising higher and higher, it sounds like you're making progress by effort. And healing comes from abandoning the effort it takes to have a point of view different from God's. And so you're letting down into it, you're relaxing into it. Use these words because they convey a call for less effort and less personal accomplishment. Personal accomplishment is an ego element. And you can't personally accomplish the return home with a capital H. All you can do is let go of control so completely, yield so completely, that there's nothing interfering with the effortless experience of reality. I am aware that there are many teachers of truth and metaphysics who have complex systems and rituals and things for people to think and do in a particular order and so on. And people flock to them because they've been given a recipe, a pattern, a conscious exercise of their mind. It gives them a feeling of something they can do. And this is satisfying to their ego. And here I am not giving you anything to do, and I'm telling you do less and do less and do less. And there are not thousands of you here today to listen. Why? Because doing less and doing less means less exercise of control, less practice of authority, and none of these things are appealing. Now are you the sons and daughters of God. Now are you God expressed. And the experience of that is only going to be had when you abandon the effort that it takes to have a point of view different from God's. And that seems to amount to abandoning authority and control. What can I do to make the healing happen more quickly? Well, what you can do is less than you're doing now. And doing less in the context of the fact that God is all, already, and you are already nothing more or less than His full expression of what He is. What I say, in a way, does strike fear in everyone's heart or mind, because it sounds like I'm saying become irresponsible.